Today, Precarious plays
Deus Ex, Human Revolution. So this is the long and the short of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm just now realizing that I don't really comprehend the point of a phrase like that. Because I mean, are you telling the long of it? Because I mean, it's like a long story made short.
It's a short story any way you tell it. That's the idea.
Or maybe it's just like the complete picture. It's like, here's the long version, here's the short version, together in tandem. Just you're gonna get it all.
Hmm. This guy is about to be done.
Nope, because I ran out of energy.
Ugh.
Because I only have 2 bars. And boy, do they run out really fast.
Yeah.
There, that one worked pretty well.
Yeah, that was really simple. And now you can shove him under the stairs? No, you probably can't fit him under there.
Oh no, I have my usual methods.
Ah. Don't be weird.
I am as the great Anaconda? No, Andyconda. Everyone's favorite. Everyone's favorite Andy. So, it was originally conceived, I think, for VR.
Yeah,
This,
haptic glove thing.
right. But it turns out that you can put these on and then you can connect them over a network. Like when they were in development, or as they are in development, I think it's an ongoing project.
Yeah.
The labs are not near one another.
Huh.
They are very remote. But they are able to use the haptic feedback to... You can pick up a ball.
Oh, and you can tell because of the haptic glove if you have it or not. It gives you sensory feedback.
Right, the robot glove.
But from however far away the network stretches.
Yes, and it's so
Yeah.
easy. It's so easy to imagine probably the quick go-to point for, oh, that's really cool. Conceptually, you just have to think, it's like, okay, so you have a number of surgeons who can perform simple medical procedures, relatively simple medical procedures.
Remotely.
Yeah, and it's all reliant on the hardware.
Yeah, like I can imagine somebody, I don't know, freezing a ward off. You know, simple stuff. Or like, you know, doing a brain surgery, you know. Just an easy brain surgery, the kind where you just push on it a little bit. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, as the technology becomes more sophisticated, I could imagine a lot of different things. But
well, a lot of the more delicate surgeries now are run by remote control anyways, because they go in through a microscopic, well, not microscopic, but they go in through a very small incision, and they're really working with tools
they use like those tiny little needly arms.
Yeah, and they got the little
pincher,
graspers and the snippers.
And I was thinking about it, and this is something that I conceived of just sort of like with a sci-fi brain.
Yeah.
As I was watching it, I thought like, oh, well, what if you had the robot arms that were being controlled remotely, just from a few feet away for the purposes of demonstration in this video, they were roughly the same scale as the operators' arms.
Right.
But that doesn't need to be the case.
No, it doesn't.
And I immediately thought like, oh yeah, mech arms. This is that.
Well,
we are one step closer to G Gundam, everybody.
Well, you know what I immediately thought?
was it the opposite? Was it really tiny hands?
No, it was I wonder if it would be a good representation of petting a cat from afar. I wonder how good the haptics would be. And I'm like, wouldn't it be fun to play? Have you ever played that game? It's a stupid Halloween game where you like peel the grapes and like you stick your hand in and feel the gross textures of the grapes and the noodles and stuff. Wouldn't it be fun to have like a modern art exhibit where like you have to decide based on the haptic feedback, like what is it, ooey gooey worm guts or peeled eyeballs or a pet cat or...
No, I think it doesn't simulate texture, it simulates resistance.
Yet.
Okay,
Yet.
Yeah.
Okay. I've always thought, like, I've never been a fan of that sort of grossness. Like, that game is mean and gross if you don't tell kids that it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right, okay? But playing with other textures and imagining what they might be is fun if you, like, put that safety net, that mental safety net, because we don't want to be traumatizing anybody, but, like, peeled grapes feel like little cold organs. Round little cold organs, and it's so gross.
I think temperature would actually probably be pretty easy.
Yeah, it probably would.
Because that's really just sort of like a thermometer on one end and then a heating and cooling. Really, they could probably just do it with like liquids.
Yeah.
Liquids that were in a layer.
Well, I know my phone gets hot and cold sometimes. I mean, like, they could do that in a controlled way. Just not cool, whatever you were using. Oh, look, he's playing video games. Look at him. Don't get caught now. But he's playing video games.
Oh, I'm gonna feel so guilty about interrupting that.
Nah, you won't. You won't.
I'll wait until he's saved.
So
I'll wait until he clears a checkpoint, you know?
back to my story about MIT Media Lab.
Wait, hold on, I wanna just finish my story because I don't wanna extend it into a third episode.
Yeah.
So I am most excited about the prospect of a mismatched pair of tiny arms.
Yeah.
Because then you could have a person-sized surgeon
with very, very tiny, like, delicate
Well,
hands.
just imagine this. Imagine making a very sophisticated 1-inch tall remotely piloted humanoid mech suit.
That would be good for a number of things.
Like, imagine if you could engineer a surgeon of some capacity. I mean, like, you'd probably skip the legs. You'd probably use a different method of mobility.
Yeah, like a nanomachine type of propulsion.
That's too small. I'm talking about something that I could see happening in the next 2 decades, not something that completely stretches the... You can make a tiny robot.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like tiny little treads.
Yeah.
Or if it was spherical, and then the arms could be projected in some way.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that you could just have this difference in scale that I feel like would not hinder the technology overly much. And you could have a deployable little surgeon that... So you know how... Oops, that guy's leg is broken. Imagine if someone was getting like a colonoscopy, for example.
Yeah.
But then a miniaturized, what is effectively a miniature mechanical version of the surgeon could misfrizzle that shit.
Yeah. Just walk around and be like, oh, this is not good. Let's just patch this up right here. We'll put some glue on this one, and then let's get back out of here.
Yeah, and I'm going to be able to project the dexterity of my arms and hands into this procedure, but it'd be so weird because it'd be like in any fantasy or sci-fi scenario where somebody has to like go into a whale and look at a problem and be like, oh, whoa, this wall of flesh has a house-sized laceration in it.
Let's put some tape on that.
Yeah, sure. That's how I fix my fantasy whales.
Hey, did you know that the world's largest whale, the average heart size for a blue whale, is 5 feet, like a 5 foot cube. Like think D&D 5 foot cube.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna measure.
That is equal to one whale heart. That just blows my mind. I mean, they're big. I get it, but apparently I don't, because 5 foot cube whale heart. That's like enough. That's big enough for any of your D&D characters to crouch in. Like, they could just hide in there. It'd be gross, but they could.
But I mean, there's other stuff in there. It's not just empty space.
There's a lot of empty space. You'd probably have to hold one of the valves open, okay? I'm not gonna lie. But you could get in there.